Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, together with my co-host Mark Ronan, just Statewide News Service, jbiztechphilly.com, and as you can see here, columnist for the Jewish Press.
And I have a weekly article in the Jewish Press also, but my column in the Jewish Press was once a month, and that's called Albany Beat, and I talk about how government relates to the Jewish community, or doesn't, as the case may be. But someone who knows a lot about the Jewish community and is very receptive to the Jewish community is the Republican leader of the Albany County Legislature, Frank Mauriello. Welcome to the Jewish View.
Well, thank you for having me on.
You know, all those Jews in Colony, you know, there's tens of them. No, there's a lot of them. But your district is what Christine Benedict's district used
That's
to be?
correct.
And she was the minority leader.
Yes.
So does this district always the Republican minority leader, whoever represents
No, I wouldn't say so, because I think
There was someone from Gilderland who
before
you, yes.
before me, and even before her, someone from Loudonville.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, you know, I'm just saying, you know, when I looked at it, I was like, there's Reber Street. Okay,
Yeah.
and there's your street.
Yep.
And I'm very impressed that, you know, people in the county legislature actually put their home addresses on, you know, out publicly, and their home phone numbers for them sometimes, and their personal email addresses. That's very good. Because once you get, you know, move up the political food chain, less and less information. Like, you know, when Paul Tonko was in Amsterdam, I'm sure he had his personal information out throughout the city. But when he got into the assembly, you know, it became more of the assembly website and less of his home address. And when he got into Congress, then they'd say, oh, you shouldn't even have congressional plates because, you know, specialized plates. So it becomes less of a personal, less of a connection. Do you like that personal connection?
I do, and because our districts are fairly small, and in fact, the legislative district I live in is a district I grew up in. So I've lived in that part of Colony almost my entire life. And so I know a lot of people. I went to school through Colony schools, graduated from Colony Central High School, and so did my two daughters. So, you know.
But you talk about the small districts, but it seems like every year, in the last few years, we're always talking about, 39 legislators are too many, let's cut it down, let's make a referendum, a vote here, vote there.
Are you in favor of that?
Yes. Yes.
To what?
25. 25.
Why would you
yes.
say that as a legislator? Because
Well, we have
there's pros and cons to any issue, but
Yes, there is. But we have a very, very large county legislature. We have 39 members, and there's no other county in New York State that has that many with our population.
Right.
so you feel when it's hard to get business done when you're there?
It is. You know, I can relate back to when I was on the town board. I served 9 years on the Colony Town Board. And on the town board, there were 7 of us, including the supervisor. And I could show you areas of Colony where I had some influence, where we were able to get things done, where I can show you different parks that we built and things we did. When you have 39 people on the legislature, it's very, very
Everybody's
difficult.
got a different opinion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but still, I mean, I think it should be downsized also, and I hear that it's going to be maybe a two-step approach down to 33 and then maybe down to 25. I don't know if you've heard that
Yes.
also, but
Yes.
but I think that, you know, with downsizing, they say it could save $1 million, but you're never sure what it could save because then you need additional staff maybe, and you know, you maybe the legislators would have a pay raise because they have a larger district. I mean, you talk about all these things, so maybe it's not quite saving $1 million a year. But anyway, I just, you know, think that you lose the people who are saying we shouldn't downsize, say that you lose that personal touch. And that's what I was just talking about with the contact information and relating. You know, when the districts get too large and there are fewer legislators, you lose that personal touch. You don't really know your districts as well as you would in the current.
I don't know if that's necessarily the case. When I ran for town board and served on the town board, we have at-large seats. So we run town-wide, and so I know the town of Colony very well. I know a number of people from all parts of the town. So
yeah, but you run on a slate town-wide. You know, it's not, everyone is on the petition on the Republican side, and everyone
Yes.
on the Democratic side is on their petition.
Yes.
So when you go around and you circulate petitions, it's really the committeemen, and which sometimes, the candidates.
Trains, and depending on where you
Their
are.
own little corner of the
Yep.
town.
Running,
So, you really don't know everyone really in the town. You're not out there hoofing it, and.
No,
do it.
you can't hit every
Right.
street in the town, no. In the legislative district, even a larger district, you can at least cover the district one time. I covered my district twice when I was campaigning last year.
And is it still a solid Rib Rock Republican district?
Mine?
Yeah.
No, it's, the voter registration is almost 50-50 Republican, Democrat.
That changed.
Yes.
That has changed. That used to be,
Mhm.
you could just put your name on the ballot and, just
But
collect enough
that's in all
signatures.
the suburbs. Why do you think that is?
Well,
Maybe I should ask for
because they had a
Colony.
county chairman who messed things up after 1999, Peter Kamani, and you're not saying this, I am, so you're held harmless, and I'm not getting you in trouble. But he basically, told me, he said, I don't like these big events, and I don't like speaking in front of big events. And I was having really big events when I was executive director of the county Republican
Seems like
Committee.
all these suburbans.
And then he said, well, I want to pick up the
phone.
phone. Well, you got to have these big events because, that's how everyone gets to know each other and bonds, and then they feel like, oh, we got a steamrolling thing here, and we can really, we should give money to this. He wanted to just pick up the phone and call people and say, contribute. And you could see the damage that all that's done in terms of support, in terms of enthusiasm.
Mark is our reporter here, and he's telling you the way
I
it
lived
is.
it. I lived it. I was there from '97 to '99. He came in '99, and I left, and everything changed after '99.
Well, I think,
Democrats.
also you see a number of people that are moving out of the cities and into the suburbs.
But there's a reason for that, and a lot of the Democratic Party in the city of Albany are asking their people who are Democrats to move out into the suburbs. They took over Guilderland first, then they took over Bethlehem, and then they set their sights on Colony. And then after the longtime town chairman passed away, boom, they went in and attacked. And it was all,
Well, they started before that.
well, they did,
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
they really went full force.
Although the last two election cycles have really been in our favor.
Yes, no, that's
Yeah.
true. You're rebounding a little bit.
Yes,
but
we are. Yes, we are.
I'm just saying that, you had, it all starts
Oh, absolutely.
as the
And
county chairman, and George Scaringe and Fred Field did a phenomenal job.
yes, they did. Yes,
But-
they did.
If you don't have the right person in the right seat at the right time, you're really not going to succeed, so.
I'm excited about our future because 3 years ago, we picked up our first seat on the Colony Town Board. And then last year, we picked up 2 additional seats on the town board, and we picked up 2 additional county legislative seats in the town. So there's really 9 Republicans in the Albany County Legislature, and 7 of them are from Colony.
Right. There's 9 or 10?
9.
Nine.
Rich Mendick
Oh, is
is
a
also,
conservative.
he's a
Is
conservative,
involved in
yes,
that, yeah,
yes.
Now, I understand that he was when there was the opening for a Republican leader, that
Yes.
Rich Mendick was one of the people he wanted to be the minority leader.
He was under consideration, yes.
But
Yes.
he's not an enrolled Republican.
No,
But he sits
and-
at the conference.
But he
so-
sits with the conference,
Yeah.
and based on what we were told, that he could be.
He could?
He
Okay.
still could be,
See,
because he
now-
caucuses with us.
Now, Richie Stack, who's the Albany County Conservative Party chairman, I said to him, you endorse both Democrats and Republicans, so really the Conservative Party should be the majority party in the county legislature.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be Democrat or Republican. Why can't there be a minor party, or, if they have more seats than anyone else?
Well, from what I understand, as long as he caucuses with us, he's part of our conference, and
Right, but
yes.
why couldn't the Conservative Party be the
Oh.
majority party?
Well, because their voter enrollment is much less, I think. In my legislative district, as an example, there were about 75 registered conservatives.
Mhm.
And there's over 1,500 registered Republicans, almost 1,500 registered Democrats.
It's a very small minority, really.
Uh-huh.
Mm. Yeah.
So tell me, which committees do you, because I went on your webpage on the county legislature site, and I couldn't even find, and not just yours, I mean others also,
Mhm.
other county legislators. I couldn't find what committees these
Well,
county
I'm on-
legislators sit on. So
I'm on the Law Committee and
Okay.
Conservation Improvement Committee.
Are you a lawyer?
No.
So
No,
why
you're
are you
not.
on the law committee?
I
To be the
I-
everyday person?
I was interested in that area, and I thought it would be an interesting committee, and I'd learn. I'd
Yeah.
learn from being on there. It's amazing through my different experiences in government, in different committees I've served on, what I've learned, and
You know what Shakespeare said?
what he said.
Kill the lawyers. Anyway.
Well, that segue into what he does for a business.
Well, that's
owner.
right. There
Yeah,
you go.
yeah.
So
right.
tell us what you do for.
Well, I work in funeral service.
There you go.
Kill
And
There you
yes,
go.
and
you
I'm
you could supply the caskets.
yes, I could. Caskets, urns, software, as well as websites and register books, and I sell to many funeral directors throughout upstate New
Well,
York.
just for, what's the Jewish view, so we say the proper, well, the Orthodox traditional way, even though probably Jewish people, do a lot of different things, but just the Orthodox view is they have a plain pine
Yes,
casket.
Yes.
With
Probably
holes,
the-
with holes at the bottom.
yes.
Yeah,
right?
just-
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, good.
So
Well,
no, are there
good.
3 holes? Are there a certain number of
Yeah.
holes? Do they have to be? I
Well,
never
they-
knew what this was. So do you have to have the holes on the bottom a certain distance apart?
It's
Is it?
not that important, but the point
Okay.
is, it says in the Bible that man was made out of dirt,
Right.
if you read the beginning of the Bible, and he returns back to
Right.
dirt. So that's why wood is, the metal is not going to rot or decay, disintegrate, and wood eventually will. And anyway, even without disintegrating,
Mm-hmm.
that you're connected to the dirt,
Hmm.
because there's
Right.
holes at the
Mhm.
bottom.
Hmm.
So that's the.
With no
point there.
burial vaults. There are no burial vaults. It's just
That's
the
right.
casket in the ground.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that would cut into your profit margin, wouldn't it?
Well, no, I don't sell them, so it's okay.
So what's the latest in funeral services, and since you have product? since you-
Actually, what it is really the cremation rate is rising.
Why do you say?
Well, part of it is cost. It's less expensive to cremate, and also the convenience factor. So if a person passes away, you usually have to bury them within a short period of time. If a person is cremated, then you can say, well, in July we're having a family reunion and everybody will be here. We'll have the memorial service in July with the person passed away in January. So
I
it's
see.
it's more convenient.
Mhm.
The cost probably is a major factor.
Cost is a
That's
factor.
what I've met
It's
with
a
a few
factor.
people, and
And-
it's not Jewish, but
Mhm.
they do it, and they say, well, the cost is
It's not the
tremendous.
Jewish thing to do, but there are some Reform Jews or non-observant Jews who
Mhm.
do have who are cremated.
Oh, it's
or
now
choose.
accepted in the Catholic Church as well.
Is it?
Really?
It wasn't.
I didn't
It wasn't
know.
before,
wasn't
but it is
true,
now.
yeah. So I know that there's a lot of innovation in terms of online services and in terms of viewing, if you can't make it to the funeral.
Yes,
that
there's
they
webcasting. You can do
Right.
webcasting. And it's interesting because of the cremation rate being almost 50% now in New York
Really?
State. Yes. So almost 50% of the people that pass are being cremated. Quite often, funeral directors are eliminating their casket selection room. And New York State Legislature just passed a law where funeral homes can serve light fare in funeral homes.
Food, you mean?
Foods, yep. So there.
Why couldn't they do it before?
There's a New York State health law that prohibited them from doing that
Because
because they felt it wasn't sanitary to serve food in
Yeah,
a
for a
funeral home.
dead body or something, like
Mhm.
decaying, sure.
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, and
So
you know,
now, if you're cremated, you can have a light fare, but
even if it's
Oh.
a full burial, they can
Full burial?
as long as it's in a separate room.
Oh,
You can
Make a
serve
banquet
food.
there. it's a
You
good
you
business
could you
over
can do
there.
that. You can serve finger foods and pastries and
that,
donuts.
that funeral directors lobby is really, earning their money this year.
Well-
We had them on the show here.
Did you?
The association,
Okay.
Funeral Directors
Yeah.
Association. But I wanted to, do you know that the Department of State has a Bureau of Cemeteries?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes, oh yes.
You know,
Mhm.
that, I mean, most people wouldn't think
Yeah.
that would, be
Sure.
part of the Department of State even, you know?
No.
Well, it's
So,
an important.
so webcasting is a big thing.
Webcasting is a big
And,
thing.
you know, in the Jewish religion, it's a big thing because there's a certain, what do you call it, certain Kohen, what do you call
Priest.
a certain, no, but a certain level where a Jew can't go to a funeral, can't be in the same room as
The
a dead
priestly
body.
class are not supposed to be impured by a dead body. That's
Right.
again from the
Okay.
Bible, so
Okay.
they shouldn't be in contact unless it's a very close relative, father, mother,
Right,
brother,
blood
sister.
relative, right.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so Mark, for example, is one of the priests. He's
I'm a
not
Kohen, right?
He's a special Jewish person, besides being a reporter. And but I mean, it's a little frustrating for him because people in the community obviously pass away, and so are you going to the funeral? No, I can't. I can't go into the funeral home.
Right.
I can't go into the cemetery to
Mhm.
at least put some dirt on the grave to participate in some small way. And so that's why he's excited.
But that's part
about
of your
that.
tradition, so people understand.
Well,
They
not only
understand,
that,
but he
but if you
feels,
had the
you know.
with the webcasting, I can now view the
Yes.
funeral.
Yes.
I can view the cemetery
You can
service.
feel participant.
So you can feel like this. But also, it's not just for people might be a Kohen, but it's also people who can't get, because they may be too old, they can't get to the funeral, they can't
Yes.
get there. At least they can still feel like from California and the
Mhm.
funerals in Queens, that they
Mhm.
could still,
Because
you
it's
know,
even
say
another
what-
law that you should bury a person right away.
right, within
Yes.
24
So,
hours.
like
That's
that,
the Jewish
people are all-
tradition,
Yeah, so
before
they're
sunset.
living like in California, well, tomorrow's the funeral, tomorrow the funeral, how am I, or they're busy in the middle of I have obligations, there's a
Right.
cousin, but again, they want to at least
Mhm.
tune in for an hour.
So what else besides cremation and webcasting?
Well,
are-
I think really some funeral homes now are looking really towards the experience that people have in a funeral home. And and don't look at me funny. It's as an example. Let's say a person was a motorcycle rider, and he didn't pass away in a motorcycle accident, but he was a biker and liked to ride his bike. Well, you can actually bring the motorcycle into the
Mhm.
funeral home and have it on display,
Yeah.
right with the casket. If the person was a quilter, you could have her quilts on
Right.
display around the casket.
Or his quilts.
Or his quilts, absolutely.
It's interesting. I mean, you could
Well,
see the
I'm
reasoning
I'm
behind
into
it.
bowling, so maybe we'll have bowling balls.
You,
We'll do it
and you
in-
could, you could have a
bowling
person's, if a person is a golfer, they could have his clubs propped up right there
That's right.
with some photographs of him
Interesting,
on the golf
Well,
course.
they could have a little putting green, and before
Yes,
you
you
go see
could.
the family, you
Yes,
take a
you
little
could.
putt, and then you can go
Yes,
see
you
the
could.
family.
I know of a company that, there was a person that passed away who was a very big Beatles fan, loved Paul McCartney. So what they did was they took the photograph of the Abbey Road album, which has the four Beatles walking across the street, and
Right.
Paul McCartney's barefoot, and they had a good profile photograph of the deceased. So they removed McCartney's picture and put his picture there in its place, and it's a big, large photograph like
They
this.
photoshopped it.
And they did, and then they had a Sharpie there, and everybody could just sign their names and write comments on it. I mean, and that's part of
Came
the
to be
experience.
like a bar mitzvah. right?
Well,
Instead of a funeral.
it's interesting because I know when a few years ago when Saratoga Racecourse had their new CEO, he's like from Universal Studios or something. He says, "Oh, we're going to have the guest experience," and that's what the terminology is at Universal Studios,
Yes.
a guest experience.
Yes.
So that's why I was kind of looking kind of strange because it's like, but you're right. You want people to feel in the same world that the deceased is in.
Yes, and you want them to feel good. And I mean, everyone is sad because they've lost someone.
Yeah.
But that person accomplished things in life. That person meant something to
Yeah.
people while they were alive. So celebrate that.
Sure. That's great. No, that's wonderful. So, okay, anything else?
And the only other
Yeah.
thing is, again, because of now food being allowed in funeral
Yeah.
homes, and because of the increase in the cremation rate, and funeral homes, some are eliminating their casket selection rooms. I have software that allows funeral homes to show product on a widescreen monitor.
Without having
versus-
every casket.
Now, when you
casket.
say product, what are
Caskets, urns, register books, burial vaults, even urn
What
vaults.
was the last one?
Burial vaults,
Vaults.
which caskets are placed in cemeteries.
Above ground?
No, below
No.
the ground.
Underground, vaults underground?
Yes, there's
Okay.
a concrete vault that the casket is placed in. And many cemeteries require them because as the casket decomposes in the ground, you know, the earth above it will start to cave in. So the burial vault is there just to
But
keep
even
the
in
ground
Jewish,
level.
you should know, I mean, I know you mentioned that we can't have it, but first of all, since they're made out of cement is kind of dirt, so the rabbis got around that a little
Really?
bit. Because like in Florida, well, my parents are buried in Florida, so I know about Florida a little bit. You know, it's about sinking, it's
Yes.
swampland
Yes.
practically there.
High water
And-
table.
Yeah, and, you know, things are going to really be, so they said, they did, it's not preferable, but they did allow it, because cement is dirt and close enough, and they do allow it. I mean, if the cemetery demands it, if the law demands it, what are you
It's
gonna
a
do?
cemetery regulation.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, now, so I go to the Bureau of Cemeteries hearings or meetings, monthly meetings, and I've been learning about the cremation part. But let me ask you about this, going back to the county legislature for a moment.
Sure.
Because they don't have a cemetery committee. No. Well, you never know. Okay. Do they, so you said you're on the law and the environmental
Yeah,
Committee?
conservation.
Conservation?
Improvement committee,
Okay.
yes.
And is this, and then just in January, I mean, you were a freshman
Yes.
legislator?
Yes.
And then you get put in as the top guy in the caucus?
Yes.
I mean, this must have been daunting and overwhelming for you.
Well, there's a
I
learning
mean, not to
curve,
say
there's no
that you're
doubt about
Not
it.
to say that you're not up to the challenge. I mean, I think you are. I mean, I've known you enough years. But
Fortunately though, I do have experience in government.
fortunately,
And-
yes.
And so because of that, it really helped. And I was deputy supervisor for 4 years in the town of Colony
Under
also.
Mary Brazell.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
So
So,
he knows how government works.
or doesn't, as the case may be. So tell me, what's your, is this the dream for you? I mean, is this like, wow, I never thought I'd be here? This is the,
No, as a child growing up, I've always liked history. I've always been interested in government. You know, I could tell you who our governor was and who our senators were, where other kids in class couldn't do that. So I always wanted to serve, and I had the opportunity to be appointed to the Town of Colony Sign Review Board. And first I thought, oh boy, signs. I don't know if I'm going to like this, but you know, I think it's a good place to start. So I spent 4 years on the sign review board and actually became the chairman for a short while before I was appointed to the town board. And I really did gain an interest in signs. As an example, one of the signs that we approved on our board was the Boskov sign that's on Colony Center. That's at the front of the mall that faces Wolf Road.
Sure.
When Boskovs first came into the area, they said, well, our store is going to be in the back of the mall, and the only one's going to be able to see it is people in the cemetery. You can't see it from Wolf Road. And they came in and they wanted signs all over the building. But we wanted them to be uniform. We did not want them to have more signage than Sears or Macy's had. Sears and Macy's were the two main tenants. So we scaled them back and said, okay, Sears and Macy's have this amount of signage. You're allowed this amount of signage. How would you like to put the signs on your building? And they asked for signage on the front of Colony Center because of them being in the rear. And it was a reasonable request.
Yeah.
So we
You
granted
granted
it.
it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And-
I always knew Colony was business friendly,
hmm
but what are some of the challenges in your district?
In my district,
In your individual district?
probably,
Which, I mean, it borders like Schenectady County.
yes,
And it borders Guilderland,
yes.
and then it borders on the West
Console
Albany-
Road.
Well, Albany, city of Albany?
No,
right?
no, no.
You don't go down?
I go as
no.
far west as
Okay.
New
Wolf-
Carner Road.
To New Corner Road?
Yes, yes, the southwest corner.
Okay. Right, you have
Colony.
Watervliet Shaker Road and
Yes,
Corner- right,
Console
okay.
Road.
That's what you,
Mhm. Yep, yep. I probably, still, one of the issues would be the hotels on Central Avenue, which Christine Benedict did a great job working to clean those up. The Skylane Motel is being torn down as we speak, so
Yes.
that's
Bluebell
that's a good thing. Bluebell is
turned-
gone.
right.
Yep, that's gone. But I think But I think the town is missing the point in one area, and which I think is very important, and that is economic development. From New Carter Road, Route 155, west to St. Clair's Church. They really need to look at that, and they really need to come up with maybe a mini comprehensive plan for how they want that area to be developed. It's just a hodgepodge of businesses and hotels and car part stores, and Copart is there with all their junk cars, and now, so that area really needs to be looked at and developed.
And then part of your district is the Pine Bush?
Yes.
So that's your conservation interest? I mean, that's...
And during the, when we worked on our comprehensive plan 10 years ago, we put a conservation overlay over that area of the town.
So how much do you hike in the Pine Bush?
I really don't. But I lived, when I was first married, I lived off of Kings Road, right in the Pine Bush. And I loved it back there.
And that's it? That's your only...
No, that's it. That's it. I never get an opportunity to hike back in the Pine Bush.
You don't go on Route 155 where they have the nature...
No, but I do
center?
drive past there all the time.
Well, you know
Absolutely.
what? I got to take you, because the guy who runs that, he was the guest on our show, and he invited Rabbi Simon and I to...
I'd love to go.
So
We're
I
always
would love to
invited
go.
to everywhere.
We'll bring you along
Okay.
also, you know?
I'd love to go.
But once, you know, I know because I'm in Bethlehem, it's a lot of people are, like Mark's is just the opposite, unbusiness friendly, but it seems like Wolf Road is built up. It's just almost, is there any antagonism against being too built up? I mean, there's hotels on Wolf Road.
Yes, that's an issue
it's so
now.
crowded
Yes,
now.
yes. There's a group actually that was formed in Colony called Save the Trees. I don't know if you've heard of them, because there's a development going in on Maxwell Road. It's a more of a age 55 and older development, and the developer went in there and just clear cut all the trees.
Really?
And that really set everyone off, and everybody was upset about it. And so now, not only are they focusing on the trees, they're really focusing on development. And there's a traffic study being done from, I believe it's from Everett Road all the way to the Albany Airport along Albany Shaker Road. And, you know, we have to be careful. Development is good. You need to grow. You need to prosper. But you also need to manage it.
Right.
And you need to do it right.
So let me ask you another topic about the Albany County Ethics Commission,
Mm-hmm.
because you had an appointee.
Yes.
You had Michael Rest of
Yes,
Gilderland.
Mike Rest, yep.
I don't know who he is, but I figure you're in the...
He was on the Gilderland Ethics Board.
Well, you're in the
I spoke to
funeral
him.
position as business and rest and...
Yes,
they
that's right. I never
rest in
thought of
peace.
that.
So
Yeah.
I figured maybe that's why you liked him. I didn't know. But anyway, so you... Yeah, I know you're going to get me after this, telling all these Republican secrets here. No, but anyway, so tell me, why did you choose him, and what's going on with the Ethics Committee?
Well, because he was on the Gilderland Ethics Committee,
Yeah.
that's why. And he was there before, yeah, and he served before, and I spoke with him, and he was willing to continue his service, and he had the experience. So that's why I asked him to continue. And right now, really, they've met for the first time. They're deciding, you know, what they're going to do. They're going to meet at least once every 6 months, and unless someone brings up an issue to them, I mean, they're dormant.
There's no ethics problem in the county legislature.
Nothing that's been brought to our attention now.
Yet.
Right. There's nothing there that we know of.
You're going after the Dems and trying to find
No,
things?
I don't think so. No, no. There's no point. You know, we have to work together.
Well, I was going to
No.
ask you, so what do you think of the majority side? Do you work well?
Yes, we do. Yes, I do. I've met with Frank Camiso a few times, and he and I get along very well.
Well, you're both Italian, I guess.
That's right. I guess so.
You have, no, I mean, there's a bonding. There's
Yes.
I mean, he's very much
Yes.
into that ethnicity, you know.
Mhm.
So,
And so we get along just fine. And he's given me some advice, which has been good.
yeah,
You
tell
know,
me.
about
Don't
just
screw with
listening.
me.
No, just listen. Make sure you listen to your conference. Listen to what they have to tell you, and that's important.
And then do what you want to do.
No. And Sean Ward has been great as the chairman of the legislature.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah, he's great. I have no complaints about him.
Until you get more members, and then he won't be so
Well,
great
we'll see.
anymore.
We'll see what happens at that point. But that's
But
another.
while you're at 10 out of 39, you
Yeah.
know, he's okay. You know, once you start getting up
No,
there,
he's included me in many things. He's called me out of courtesy
Now, you
with
know,
certain subjects.
there's so many other minority leaders who have said such different things about the Democrats that certainly Christine Benedict had her problems with the majority. How are you going to do things differently?
Well, I think what's important is that, you have to remember there's now a reform group of Democrats that have somewhat broken away. And they're looking to really move forward with good government initiatives. And they've approached us on it. And if it's a good government initiative, obviously we'll partner with them. I think that's very important. So what Christine didn't have that, Lee didn't have that before me. Lee Carmen, right? So now this is something that I have that I can work with.
Okay. Well,
All right, very
good luck.
good.
That's
Listen,
great.
you're doing good work, and keep it rolling, and we'll check in with you again in the future to see what's happening in Albany
Please come
County
back.
Legislature.
Anytime,
Okay.
anytime.
Success with good health.
Thank you very
Continued
much.
success. Yes.
Thank you.